Okay, today we're going to be doing 12.6 day 1, which is adding and subtracting rational expressions. And remember, adding and subtracting rational expressions really just means adding and subtracting fractions. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to go back to 4th and 5th grade, and we're going to look at 15 divided by 12, take away 13 over 12. And remember, what we would do here is we would just simply keep the denominators and we would add the numerators, and in this case we would subtract them. So we would get 2 over 12, and then of course we would simplify to 1/6. So what I need for you to remember from elementary school is that when you have same denominators with fractions, is that number 1, you keep your denominator. That's what I did here. I kept the 12. Second is I added or subtracted the numerators. And that's what I did, 15 minus 13, and got 2. And third, I always simplify my answers. So now that we're in algebra, we're going to use the skills that we already know, and we're going to apply it to rational expressions. So let's take a look at number 1. Please write this down. 5 divided by 3x plus 7 divided by 3x. You can notice that we will have same denominators today. So we simply keep the denominator of 3x, add or subtract our numerators. So this would be 12. And the third step would be to simplify. And we know that these are factors, so we can simplify this down to 4 over x. And it's just that simple. Okay, number 2, 5 over x plus x minus 5 over x. Now this one you do need to be a little bit careful with. We will have same denominators, so we keep it. And we will add our numerators, but you do need to be careful. So we are going to write all of our steps out so we can see the top. We do have a polynomial on the top. We will keep that numerator, and we will notice that 5 and negative 5 will cancel out. So I have an x left on top, and x over x reduces down to 1. Question 3. 7 over 2m minus 3. Subtract this time 3m over 2m minus 3. Now, up here you can see that I was adding, but notice how I still use my parentheses, because if that was a subtraction problem, I would have had to distribute the negative. So you do have to be extremely careful with the negatives. That's why I want you to show your work. So we are going to keep our numerator, or excuse me, denominator. And the top, we need to write out 7 minus 3m. We ask ourselves, can I simplify anything on this problem? And we cannot, because these are terms, they are not factors, therefore we leave question 3 alone. Now, question 4. Please write down 3x divided by x minus 1, subtract x plus 5 over x minus 1. Now, we will keep the denominator, and this is what I was talking about. You cannot do this in your head because you will mess up. So you need to write out your numerators, and it's imperative that you use parentheses here. If you do not do this step, you will forget to distribute this negative. So what I actually have on top is 3x, take away x, take away 5, because I applied the distributive property. And I still leave that numerator or the denominator alone. Now up on top, looks like I do have like terms here, so I can say 2x minus 5 over x minus 1. Ask yourself, will this simplify? And remember, these x's cannot go out because they are terms, not factors. Now, the first four examples, you could clearly see that we had the same denominator. Question 5, it's going to look a little bit different. So question 5 is 4x divided by 3x squared, take away x minus 2, minus x minus 2 over 3x squared minus x minus 2. Now, on this problem, you will see that our denominators is a trinomial, and you have to be careful with the trinomials. So we can, in fact, keep that denominator because it is the same denominator. We will have to deal with the top. So I'm going to say 4x, take away, parentheses, x minus 2. Then I have 4x minus x, which will give me 3x, plus a 2. Now, if you do not factor your denominator, you may miss a chance to simplify. So you also, in the end, need to factor the denominator. So let's see. Factors of 3 will be 3x and x. Factors of 2 will be 2 and 1. Let's see if this factors correctly. I can get a negative 1 in the middle, so that is negative, that is positive. So over here you can see that it's 3x plus 2 and an x minus 1. And if you did not factor the denominator, then you would never realize that it has a common factor. Because these are common factors, we can simplify this, and our final answer will be 1 over x minus 1. Okay? So remember, if it is a simple denominator, you're okay. If it is a complex denominator that you probably will factor, go ahead, keep your denominator, but when you're simplifying, make sure you factor everything. Okay, questions 6 and 7, I'm going to let you try to do these by yourself. Question 6 is going to be 3y over y plus 5 plus 4 over y plus 5. Go ahead, take a moment and try that one. Okay. Hopefully you kept y plus 5 as your denominator and you added 3y plus 4 on top. Ask yourself, did anything simplify? No, because we have terms, not factors. Okay, let's try one more. This one is going to be x minus 3 divided by 2x, subtract 3 plus x over 2x. Go ahead and try that one. Okay, now this one is subtract, so be super careful. We are going to keep that denominator. The numerators need to be subtracted. So I am going to use parentheses and I'm going to use the distributive property. So on top I get x minus 3 minus 3 minus x. So what happens here, the x's actually cancel out and I get left with negative 6 on top. My denominator is 2x. So this is actually not finished because it will simplify. So your final answer will be negative 3 over x.